Morning, guys. April 23rd, 2020, in the midst of the bat flu, the corona. Do a little story time, and I'm going to talk about my father. I've never did a video about my father and talked about him. Um, a little backstory. My father had 8 kids, and I was the baby of 8. So, when I was born, my mother was kind of sick, and I popped out. I was really sick. I ended up in the hospital, and I guess I had really low calcium or something. My sister said I was shaking. My whole body was shaking. They had to give me a bunch of shots because I had no calcium in my body. My mother was sick when she had me, but yeah. So that was the deal. So I'm the baby, and of 8, and my mother died very young. She died when I was 6. My mother died, and my father got remarried. So it's kind of a long story, but it's going to be more or less talking about, the relationship I had with my father and working. My father was a plumber. He started out, I guess he started out as a plumber back in the day when he got married, and he was in Martha's Vineyard, and he had had his own little plumbing business on Martha's Vineyard, which is a little island off of Cape Cod, and he had a successful plumbing business over there. And I guess from what my sisters had told me, like I said, I was young when my mother died, and a lot of these stories come from my sisters. I guess he was cheating on my mother over there or whatever, and my father was quite the ladies' man, and so I guess my grandfather had told my mother to come over here. He was going to buy a house and she could move over here and get away from that loser because my father was, I guess he was cheating on her or something from what my sisters were saying. So anyway, so she moves over here to Acushnet, which is over by New Bedford, and everybody comes over. And then I guess my grandfather, which was, I am French Canadian. So my grandfather told my father, he said, "You better get over here and come over where your family is and leave them flipping broads alone over there." I guess from what my sister was saying, my mother used to tell my sisters, every time that man touches me, I get pregnant. So she probably had cut him off, and he was over there playing around with all these different girls over there in Martha's Vineyard. I guess he was quite the ladies' man. I don't know if it's probably not funny, but this is the way my father was. So anyway, um, my mother died when I was young, and my father got remarried right away. He probably they say that he had her all lined up when when my other mother was in the hospital, and he ended up getting, as soon as she died, he got remarried. Um, and I guess he kicked all my sisters out of the house. I guess the youngest one was, I think, 18. He said, "Oh, you girls all got to get out." And the 3 youngest ones went with him to the new marriage. So that's kind of a long story there with my stepmother kind of raised me. So you wonder if I'm a little crazy. That's probably why. So whenever I say this mama thing, I mean, I don't have a mom. My mother died when I was young. I really that's another long story where the mama thing comes from. It's not my mother. But anyway, so trying to get back to my father and the story of my father. Um, when I was in high school, right, I was never in the 12th grade because when I was going to high school back in the day, on the 11th grade, if you took extra courses, and you could take the extra courses and graduate in 3 years if you had the proper credits. So that's what I did so I could get out and work because I wanted to get into the plumbing field because my father was a plumber. But we'll get into that. So I was never in 12th grade. At 11th grade, I took the extra courses and I did get all my credits, and I was able to graduate in 3 years and get out of high school. So anyway, I got out of high school and I wanted to get into the trade because with plumbing, you have to work 4 years for a master plumber to be able to go for your license to be a plumber. So my father um, he was in the union. He was a union plumber, and he worked for a good sized union shop. And he was like he was like the head honcho of all the workers. He was the general foreman of the workers. Now, my father, when he came over from the islands, he came over into the union over here, Plumbers and Pipe Fitters Union. And this guy that he worked for was a Jewish guy. His name was Murray Goldberg. And he was a Jewish businessman. And my father was, the plumber. But Murray Goldberg had a plumbing license too, because I guess his father was a plumber. But he was a businessman. And my father was the worker. And he was one hell of a worker, my father. That's one thing. I was going to get into that as we go along. But a little backstory. So this guy, Murray Goldberg, which did all commercial work like hospitals and schools and all small commercial work. He needed a guy like my father to run the show. I mean, Murray had all the money and knew how to run the business, but he wasn't really a worker, or he wasn't, one of those guys that could run a big business and get out there and work with his hands. And that's where my father came into play. So when I started as an apprentice, my stepbrother was an apprentice before me. And so he was 4 years before me. He was older than me, my stepbrother. But I got in when I was like 17 years old. I got in. There was a spot for me. My father made a spot for me. And I got in as an apprentice. And my father was older at that time. Because like I said, I was the baby. So when I first got in as an apprentice, my father was like the general foreman. And he probably had 20 guys working under him. And he was always, out in the job trailer. And he was running the show and the prints and everything. And he'd tell the foreman what he wanted to do. And the foreman would go out and have all the guys working. So he never really, at that point, when I got into the field, I never really worked with my father. I worked with him a couple of times, but not too much because he was kind of like the boss. So I ended up coming up through the trades, working as a union plumber, pipe fitter. And, my first job, we started at St. Luke's Hospital, and we're doing a renovation of a 4-level emergency room. So we stripped the whole thing out, and we had to do all the piping and everything for the emergency room, which was 4 levels. So I did a lot of lead and oakum, caulking joints and stuff like that. But my father was, at that time, he had all kinds of heart issues, and he had all kinds of cholesterol problems, and I didn't work with him much. A couple of times I did work with him. He was one hell of a worker. And I have worked with him a couple of days. He says, come on, I'm going to show you how to work. And there was a bunch of cord holes drilled through the floor. And we're going to do all this cast iron work, right? And it was like, 30, 40 different holes on this first floor. And he had me working with him. And he put on his bandana, right? He says, I'm gonna show you how to work. And he'd go along, he'd be sweating his ass off, working like a flipping madman. It's one thing about him, he was a good worker, very smart. And what he did was all the holes on that whole floor, like there was all kinds of holes that were core drilled through, like through the concrete. And he had me drop plumb bobs, down from every hole, and we'd mark it on the floor where the hole was up above, right? And he'd go around and take all these measurements with his tape and write them all down, center to center, boom, 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 boom. Then he'd tell me, cut this piece so long, cut that piece so long. And told me where to put all the hangers up. And we put all them pieces up, and everything fit perfect because we dropped it all down to the floor, right? Laid it out on the floor, and then we could take all our measurements on the floor. And that's the same thing from up above. Instead of trying to measure up above, that's not the way of doing it. But anyway, I worked with him a couple of times like that. He would show me how to work and how to do stuff like that. But he was a lot older than me. I was the baby, and so I didn't really work with my father all that much in the trade as far as that goes. A couple of times here and there I did work with him, but all the people that ever I talked to about my father and all the guys, the journeymen and stuff that showed me how to work and taught me as I was coming up. They all had utmost respect for my father and had a lot of stories about him. He was the smartest plumber they ever met, the best worker, and that's why he was in the position he was in. you know. But like I said, when I was coming up and stuff, he was already on his way out. He had heart conditions and he had all kinds of problems like that. So I didn't really work with my father all that much, but he did lay the groundwork for me, and he got me the job. And I kept the job, you know. I worked as an apprentice. I was in union for 12 years. Then after the 12 years, I got out and I started my own plumbing business, plumbing, heat, and air conditioning business. Went to school for oil burners, went to school for air conditioning. You know, the plumbing and heating, I was already, you know, did all that stuff. But I didn't know anything about house plumbing because I was in the union. We did all kinds of schools and stuff like that. So all the stuff I know about house plumbing and stuff, I learned that all on my own when I got out. You know, I didn't even know how to work on flipping toilets and stuff like that. I learned all that shit as when I got out and started my own business and kind of stumbled along with it and learned how to do all that stuff. All the stuff you see in my videos, I learned all that shit, how to do all that stuff by myself, working in houses and stuff. I didn't know any of that stuff. I learned all that as I went along. But my father was older and, you know, he moved to Florida and I didn't see him that much. So I had a decent relationship with my father as I was growing up, but I do respect him. I got a lot of respect for my father, but it wasn't like, you know, I got out of my house when I was 17. This is another story about my father. He helped me out. When I was growing up, my father told me, he says, listen, if you want to buy a house when you get older, start saving your money now, get a job. You know, I was a dishwasher. I worked at a variety store, you know, on the nights and weekends. I worked for a contractor doing carpentry work on the weekends and stuff to make extra money. So by the time I was 17, right, I already had $20,000 in the bank, which a lot of people have. So at that point, I was gotten into the union, and I was looking. My father says, "Oh, why don't you look around for a fix-upper house? You know, buy that cheap, and you could fix it up, and then you'd have a place to stay." And he had told me that when I was younger, and he never really. He would help me if I needed it, but he wanted me to work for the money. He wanted me to go out, make my own money, make my own way, and work for it. So at 17 years old, I had 20,000 in the bank. And my sister had told me, hey, listen, there's this old house, beat up house down the street down here next to my church. You might be able to get it cheap. It's for sale. So this is the house I'm in now. We come look at it, right? It was all prickers everywhere. The house was, all the windows were smashed. There was a fire in the roof, you know, and the thing really looked really shabby, but it was a shell, you know. So we come look at it. We come walking in here. There was another couple coming in, walking in at the same time, and all the sheetrock was on the floor. All the windows were smashed. There was birds flying in and out, you know. And the other lady that came in at the same time, she said, "The only thing good about this thing is the chimney," she said, because the chimney still looked good. And I mean, but all the walls and everything were on the floor. And the house was in a fire. And my father said, "Boy, this house has got potential. So let's give him a bid on it, and you know, and then I could take the money I had." Go get a mortgage, take the money I had, fix up this house, and then I would have a decent house to live in, you know, to start out. It was a starter home. This is the house I'm in now. So I was working at the time, and I could afford the mortgages. It was only $28,000 they wanted for the house, land and all. 28,000. That was a long time ago. I was 17 back then. So we went to get the mortgage, and the bank says, "Yeah, you're making enough money. Everything looks good. The only problem is you have to be 18 years old to have a mortgage, and you're only 17, so you can't do it." So I said, "Shit, you know, it was a whole year to go before I could get a mortgage. You know, the deal is now, you know." So my father says, "All right, this is what I'm going to do, kid. I'll pay for the house. I'll buy the house out, and take your money that you saved, put into the house, you know, electrical, plumbing, heating, sheetrock, fix the roof, windows, and then next year when you turn 18, go to the back and get a mortgage, and then pay me off, and then you'll have your house." So that's what I did. So my father did help me that way. He bought this house because I was only 17. So I took the 20,000 I had, and I put all my extra time was here working on this house, fix the roof, electrical. My brother-in-law was an electrician. He helped me with that. The plumbing and heating, my father did. Me and him did. All the cabinets, me and my father built all the cabinets. We fixed the roof. I did all that. I did all the windows. I put all windows in. I did all the sheetrocking, and everything that was burnt, I sealed it good, and everything like that. I did all the floors in here. So I did all that. So it took me about a year to do all that stuff. So when I became 18, I went to the bank, took the mortgage out, 30-year mortgage for $28,000, and paid my father off. And I'm still in the same house. I mean, I probably should have sold this house years ago, but my father helped me with that. And he had bought me cars over the time I needed. I think I needed money for one car. He gave me the money for the car, and he said, "Yeah, don't worry about it. A couple, $500 or whatever it was." So my father was a good guy, but he was one hell of a worker. He was a good worker, smart as a whip. And so that was the story of my father, and he was one of these guys you could never be alone. I mean, once my stepmother died, he found someone else right away, and he was quite the Casanova. He had all these hot looking women. He would chase them all, and he was quite the character, my father, but very smart. And the best worker I was ever around was my father. He was a flippin' savage. And that's why he did good in life, because he was a good worker. And so he was the brains of the operation of the Murray Goldberg. He made that Goldberg he was like $5-6 million by the time he retired. He was worth a lot of money. I'm not saying Goldberg wasn't a smart dude, but my father was like the worker, that would run everything. And Goldberg was the businessman. He made Goldberg a lot of money. And he never got rid of my father. My father was, one of those guys that when you find him, you hang on to him. So that was the story of my father. I guess he had some good points and some bad points, and we all do. But just a little story time. I respected my father. I really did. He ended up dying of congested heart failure down in Florida. And he lived to about 85. Like I said, I was the baby, and I got 6 sisters and 1 brother that were older than me. So that's a little story. Nothing bad to say about my father. I respected him, and someday I'll see him when I step over, I'll see him on the other side. And he helped me out. He helped me out getting this house, because I couldn't have done it at 17. I couldn't get the money from the bank, and I didn't have enough money to buy it outright. And then what was I going to do? I needed the money to put into the house to fix it, to make it livable. So that's the deal. I'm still here. I'm gonna be 56 this year in July, and I got this house at 17. So you do the math. That's almost 40 years. It ain't no Taj Mahal, Mama, but it's my home. Yeah, so that's the story of my father. Hopefully you enjoyed it.